Hey, chemisters, this is Mrs. Vadaloy bringing you the answers to the Chapter 9 Nomenclature Worksheet. Chapter 9, again, is all about aldehydes. Notice I emphasize the al and aldehydes and then the ketones. All right, so an aldehyde begins with or ends with al, and a ketone ends with an -one. Okay, so we need to name each of the following. Well, letter A, the first one is not an aldehyde. How do I know that? This is the C double bond O is not at the end of the chain. So it's a ketone. So you have to mention where the double bond O is. It's on that carbon right here. So this is carbon, well, let's check. 1, 2, 3 going left to right, or it's 1, 2, 3. Hey, it makes no difference. So I think it is 3-pentanone. Well, the next one, again, I want you to become familiar with the way they draw these structures, but I'm more visual than that. I like to draw them out. So how did I do this? I started with this carbon. This carbon is this one. It has a C double bond O and an H. Obviously, the O is not double bond to the H. It can't be, right? And then I have 6 carbons next to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I have the last carbon, so there it is. So how many total carbons are there? Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Does that make sense? I have 1 plus 6, which is 7, plus 1 is 8. So there's 8 carbons. And with it being the C double bond O at the end, it is just plain old octanol. Okay. Now, what about this next one? Again, I like to draw it out. So I have a carbon, and with it, I have two groups of C6H5. Well, what is C6H6? Isn't that benzene? We spent all chapter 3 talking about benzene. So this is like a benzene ring, but it's off of the carbon. So it looks like this. So here's the C double bond O, C double bond O, and then here's this C6H5. Why is it H5? Because one of the H's came off when it bonded with this middle carbon. So I have 2 of those. So really, when you name this, it's best if you recognize that it just use the word ketone. So this C double bond O is ketone. So what's with it? Well, it looks like a diphenyl. All right, not dibenzyl, but diphenyl ketone. Now this next one, I'm hoping that you recognize right here is benzaldehyde. So you can either make it 2-bromo benzaldehyde or ortho bromo benzaldehyde. So how do we name a cyclic ketone like that? It's just cycloheptanone. All right, there are 7 carbons in the ring. That's it. So that's where the carbon is actually part of the ring. There's part of the ketone. Now here, hopefully you notice that was a boo-boo. And so that should be a 3. So this is how I drew it. Okay. So again, the CH-O is this one. So then here's a carbon with 3 CH3 groups off of that. So it is an aldehyde, so it's going to end in al. We know that this has to be carbon number 1. So this is carbon number 2. So it's 2,2-dimethyl propanal. And then the last one is again another ketone. So I would use the word ketone in this, and I have 2 cyclopentenes, or pentanes, excuse me, so it's dicyclopentyl ketone. All right, that's a mouthful, I know. All right, let me keep going. All right, so about this next one, well, I went ahead and numbered it because the ketone will take priority. So I had to number it from right to left. So the ketone is on carbon number 2, but now we see that there's a double bond on carbon number 3. So what takes the priority? Does the ketone or the alkene? And in this case, it is the ketone. So I got 3-pentene-2-one. So when you have 2 like functional groups in a sense, you really do need to separate that out like that, okay? Letter I is pretty, I hope pretty obvious. I don't know. Like I said, 1-bromo, 2-propanone. Because the ketone's in the middle, it doesn't make a difference if I go left to right or right to left. So then I made it so bromine was on the lowest one. All right, so now I think it's always easier to go from the name to the picture. So I made an octane right here, and on the 3rd carbon, I put the double bond O. The next one I have right here. So again, it's pent, so I put 5 carbons. I have the C double bond O always on carbon number 1, making this carbon number 4. All right, the next one is M-chloro benzaldehyde. So here's my benzaldehyde, is one of the big 9. And then in the meta position, I put my chlorine. The next one is 3-methyl cyclohexanone. And then here it is. I have 1, 2, 3. Remember, the ketone is always on the first carbon no matter what. So there's my 3-methyl. If you wanted to put M, you could have. So that's fine. All right, what are the next set? We have 2, oops, let me scroll down. So here I have this 2-pentenyl. Notice I didn't have to split it up the way I had to do with the ketone prior because, again, if it's an aldehyde, then you always know it's on carbon number 1. So here's my carbon number 1. So here's my carbon number 2 with the double bond, all right? Then I have a benzophenyl ketone. So this part is my benzyl, all right? This part is my phenyl ketone. But why did I name it first with the benzyl? Because B comes before the P, okay? Okay, cyclooctanone looks like this. Here's my octagon, and because there's nothing off of it, I just put it up there, okay? This next one I thought was different. P-tolualdehyde. I would have maybe said p-methylaldehyde because remember how toluene was also a big 9? So if you left out this part and just looked here, that'd be your toluene. So that was my clue that they wanted a methyl group. But like we said, aldehydes have a pretty high priority in naming, so that's why they have the aldehyde written there. So there's your p-tolualdehyde. Okay, so now we have 2,2-dibromohexanal. So it's an aldehyde. So here's my aldehyde. So here's carbon number 1. So here's my carbon number 2 with my 2 dibromos, and I have 6 of those. And last but not least, I have 1 phenyl, 2 butanone. So here I made this carbon number 1. This is carbon number 2. I has my ketone here and my 1 phenyl group here. Okay. Well, hopefully that went well for you. So we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.